There we go. Okay. So just to start out with yourself, from my knowledge, you got your start fishing in Oklahoma and found you had a core fishing that led you to this career. Can you elaborate on how you got your fishing start in your younger years?
Well, I could not ever remember not fishing. I guess I started fishing when I was 2 or 3 years old. I don't really have any idea. I can't remember the first fish I caught or the first bass I caught. But my dad and my granddad, my two uncles carried me fishing, I guess, ever since I was old enough to walk, or maybe before I could walk. And so, I've never known anything but that. And when I was a senior in high school, my dad bought a resort on Lake Tenkiller in eastern Oklahoma. And so we moved to the lake. And so I lived on the lake then, and basically have lived on the lake pretty much the rest of my life since then. And obviously living on a lake for somebody to fish, it gives you an opportunity to go most days. And that's still what I do, is go most days.
Yeah. So how did you get into competitive fishing?
When I was a senior in college, I fished the Oklahoma State Championship. Back in those days, they crowned a state champion every year in Oklahoma, and you had preliminary contests that you fished, and then in the preliminary contest, those that finished first and second, or first, second, and third, I can't remember exactly which. I think it's first, second, and third, qualified to fish in the state finals. And then in the state finals, obviously, whoever won the state finals was the state champion. When I was a senior in college, I entered my first fishing, which was one of the preliminaries, and I finished fourth place, which didn't qualify for me for the state. But I fished another one the following weekend and won that tournament, and then fished a state tournament and state championship and won it. So I'd fished 3 tournaments and won 2 of them. So it seemed that's pretty enjoyable when you get to do that. But back when I was still in high school, there on Lake Tenkiller, we had at that time a kind of the precursor to all the tournaments we have nowadays. That was a deal that was called the World Series of Sports Fishing. And actually, when I won that state championship, that's what I qualified to go fish, was the World Series and sport fishing. When they held that tournament there that particular year on 3 different lakes, a 5-day tournament, and the last 2 days of that tournament was on Lake Tenkiller, where I lived. And those the best fishermen in the world at that time was fishing in that tournament, and people like Joe Krieger and Virgil Ward and Roy Martin and Glenn Andrews and Glenn Causey. They were Jim Rogers. They were the very best fishermen in the world, and they all came down there and fished for about 3 weeks ahead of time, trying to learn that lake. And many of them took me out with them, fishing with them while they were there. And they paid me $20 a night to guard their boats down at the lake while they slept. And I did that. And I got an opportunity to fish for 3 weeks time there, several different days with the very finest fishermen in the world. So that really was a good learning experience during that period of time. Actually, Virgil Ward, who had championship fishing for years on television, Virgil actually won that tournament. And I had fished with him. He had actually taught me how to fish a plastic worm. The way they fished it back in 1961, which was incorrect the way we fish it nowadays, but it was the way they fished it that day. And so I had I had some really early education that was really, really good, in addition to my dad and my uncles, who were very, very good bass fishermen.
That's awesome. Well, like, looking back on your entire fishing career, do you have like one fondest memory that you can elaborate on?
Well, really hundreds, not just one. I don't know that I have one. Most of the best memories I have are with the kids fishing, my son or daughter, or my wife in the Bassingale tournaments. She fished Bassingale for all 21 years of that Bassingale was in existence, and qualified for all 21 classics. The only one to do that. Fished every tournament and won, I think, 7 Angler of the Year titles and 4 classics and more tournaments than anybody. So those were all great experiences in being a part of her winning all of that. probably in looking at what I've done in my tournament career, which is not nearly as illustrious as hers or many others, with a couple of Angler of the Year titles in BASS. Those are probably the key things there. But it's really hundreds and hundreds of memories that you have that are every single one of them special.
Yeah, definitely. In regards to your company that you started with Bill Dance and Roland Martin, how did that come about? How did you guys come together and say let's start a company together?
Well, that's really kind of a culmination of several things there. The company's called the Three Legends, CH3, and then the word Legends. And actually, we had talked with the NBC Sports, the last 3 or 4 years, really about doing a Legends block. We didn't want to call it the Three Legends, but a Legends block on NBC that had Bill Dance and Roland Martin and myself running the shows back to back, and all three of us run on that network. We run a lot of other networks in addition to NBC Sports, but that's what we had talked about. But what really kind of the culmination of it, really formed the deal, was Tom Donlin, a guy that works with me that used to be a buyer at Walmart. It works with me in several different areas. Asked me, he said, "Do you think that if you could get Bill and Roland to do a T-shirt with you, where the other three of you on a T-shirt, and we make some T-shirts up and sell T-shirts to the three of you on there?" And I said, "Well, sure. Those guys just like me, they're trying to make a living fishing, and they can make a little money off some T-shirts. Well, they'll be happy about that." And so we had a tackle show coming up, the ICAST show in Orlando, and I set up a meeting with Bill and Roland and myself and Tom Donlin and some of the guys that work with Bill and Roland and Jeremy was there with me, and we had that meeting, talked about the T-shirts, talked about the signs, and this, that, and the other various things. And while we were talking about all of that, it sort of struck in my mind that if we can sell T-shirts, why don't we license other items to sell? And as they were talking about designing T-shirts, my mind began to get on other things, and we thought about licensing other things, gift items and coolers and clothing and all kinds of different stuff that we could just put the Three Legends brand on and license for a royalty fee, and accessory items, fishing pliers and tackle boxes and all sorts of suitcases, kayaks, all kinds of different things that we put the Three Legends brand on, and so I tossed that out on the table, and everybody liked that idea. So we actually formed that company and started that, and it's been 2 years, and amazingly in 2 years we've covered a tremendous amount of ground with a brand new brand. We have quite a few items available in Walmart, the Pro Show Shop, and Dick's and Cabela's, and we have sold off a part of the company and created and acquired some new partners that are really, really big players in the entertainment industry. People that handle such giant acts as Kiss and Madonna and many of the top country acts, and a lot of television and movie production and cartoons. And we're working on things like like right now with cartoons and Three Legends cartoons. That we've got 2 or 3 concepts on that, and a Three Legends lodge where people can actually come and spend time fishing and relaxing at the Three Legends lodge, and obviously fishing with one of the three of us. There's lots on the drawing board. We've got partners in this company that are really talented and successful in a lot of different areas of the entertainment business. So the brand, will probably continue to grow really by huge amounts over the next 2 or 3 years.
Well, that's awesome. I'm a big fan of all three of you guys. Kind of a thing I've been writing about lately is fishing buddies and like that buddy, you know, on like a small scale, you know, just going out with your dad or something, going out with your best friend. How could you explain your fishing relationship and, you know, you being fishing buddies with Roland and Bill Dance?
Well, I tell you, I can sum that up real easy. Fishing with Bill Dance and Roland is like fishing with two old women. They're a lot of fun to fish with, you know, and we've the three of us been friends for over 40 years, and we've worked together. We've competed against each other in tournaments. Roland and I still fish tournaments. Bill hasn't fished in tournaments in many years, but he was a very successful tournament fisherman in the early days of tournament fishing, and Roland, of course, is the most successful tournament fisherman ever in the history of tournament fishing, winning 9 Angler of the Year titles and more tournaments than anybody's ever won, and they've both been, you know, very good friends for a long time, and we fished together. Roland and I hunt together. Bill Dance doesn't hunt; he just fishes. But we've done commercials together. We've done shows together. We've done appearances together. We've just done, you know, amazing things. I know I even saw a picture of Bill Dance and I together one time in an outhouse. I don't know how that qualifies as what you're doing together, but, you know, in the South, we have two-hole outhouses. Some of the better off people in the South have two-holer outhouses, and Bill and I got caught in one time. I was reading a magazine, a fishing magazine. He was reading the newspaper. Which did dispel one myth about Bill Dance. It proved that he could read. Not totally, because, you know, some newspapers have quite a few pictures, so I'm not real sure. But anyway, I don't know. It's going to make a sharp turn up here somewhere. It's probably on up a ways. But anyway, they're a lot of fun to fish with. You know, those guys are so knowledgeable and they're so intense. You know, both of them are 74 years old right now, and Bill was 74 back in March. I think Roland was 74 in March. And I think Bill turned 74 next month or October. And but both of them are intense fishermen. Both of them fish extremely hard and go at it all day long, just like they always did. It's amazing really how young those guys are, and how good a fisherman they are, and how much they still love to fish. You know, Roland saltwater fishes a lot, and Bill's done a little bit more of that. Bill spends a lot of his time catfishing on the Mississippi River. So, you know, you're talking about individuals that have an extremely high passion for what they do, and just as much passion now as they did 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 years ago.
That's awesome. That kind of leads me to my next question. I was going to ask you, you know, where you're at in your career these days, and what do you where do you fish these days? What's your favorite thing to do? You know, no strings attached. I just want to go fishing. Where's Jimmy going?
Hang on here a second. I'm playing on UPS. I don't know. It's 62. Yeah, you're going to go off on 62 West exit 11, I guess. Yeah. It looks like we're going to go off. Yeah, because we're going to have to go off now to the northeast there to go. Exit 11, it says. Let me get back on the navigate. Pat's driving. Ask that question again, Steve.
Well, like where you're at in your career these days. Where do you find enjoyment fishing? You know, if there's no strings attached, you can just go out and go fishing with you and your wife or you and your kids or anything. Where would you go? Where would your dream spot be?
If I could just go fishing anywhere and take the family and go.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, like
you know,
on a day-to-day basis, you know, what's like an average day you going fishing these days? What would you do?
Well, you know, I would rather fish. Yeah, we have a ranch in southern Oklahoma that's got a couple of really nice lakes on it, 125-acre lake, 77-acre lake, and really I would rather fish on those lakes there fishing than anywhere else. And you know, we travel an awful lot, and we fish all over the world. But in reality, when you do that, you'd rather stay at home and go fishing at home than you would anywhere else. That said, you know, I'm happy fishing wherever I may be. It doesn't make any difference. I think the best place that you can be is wherever you are right now. I mean, that's
Yes.
that pretty well sums it up. And especially, I mean, if you're fishing for a living, which is what we do, and it's still kind of hard to believe after all these years that that's what we do, is we fish for a living. But when you're fishing for a living, you can't really complain too much. I got a friend of mine named Toby Keith that plays country music for a living, and he calls one of his bands, he calls the Easy Money Band, and he doesn't put up with doesn't tolerate any kind of bad talk or bad attitudes or anything with any of the people that's in his company, because he said, for crying out loud, we're playing country music for a living, and if you can't be happy doing that, hit the road. Here's your next month's paycheck, hit the road. And and he coined a phrase that is really probably you could sum up with just about any professional fisherman. And he said what he does now is he's in high school with money. He's doing what he wanted to do in high school, play country music, and that's what Roland and Bill and I are doing, and anybody else that's making a living. We're doing what we wanted to do when we was in high school, except now we're getting paid for it. And it can be debatable whether a professional fisherman are making a living or not. Sometimes we wonder, but most I haven't heard of any professional fishermen dying of starvation yet, so I guess we are.
Yes. Well, I guess a fisherman should be able to catch his own meal, so you shouldn't die of starvation.
Well, that's exactly right, but you got to be careful how many you eat. You eat yourself out of a job.
Exactly.
You got to be throwing them back. Keep your job. Yeah, that's where catch and release. That's the big thing about catch and release, is it allows us to keep our job.
Exactly.
If because we can't catch them all, it doesn't matter. But catch and release is a good thing. It's called job security.
Yeah. I got one more question for you. We actually have a chef coming over here today, and we're going to film a little thing about him cooking up some fish that he loves to do, some of his secret recipe. But I was wondering, what is your favorite dish or favorite fish dish or recipe that you've gone to over the years? The way I like fish better than any other way is just fried. I mean, we fillet our fish, and we cut them into small pieces, probably about a 2-bite-sized piece, and it gives you a lot of breading, and we used a wide variety of different types of breading mixes to put on, and we concocted lots of different ways. We actually do have a batter now that's a fish batter that is out on the marketplace, and we're working right now trying to do a deal with Cracker Barrel for it's called a Three Legends Friday Night Fish Fry, where they have the fish that you buy at a Cracker Barrel, the fish dinner you buy there at a Cracker Barrel will be in Three Legends batter mix, and then also you can then buy some out in the Cracker Barrel country store, where you can take home and fry in your own fish. But and we eat, more than anything else, crappie and bass. And I put one time on our Facebook page that if you tell people you're going to have some crappie for everybody who sends you in their recipe, if you tell them you're going to fillet a few bass, they go ballistic. But but in our private lake, we have to take the bass out that's under 14 inches, and even with the crappie, I have started advocating that what people do is they keep small crappie and throw larger ones back. You catch the crappie we keep a crappie under a pound, say, and we'll throw the 1.5, 2 pound crappie, that those type crappie we'll throw those back. So. Nothing wrong with playing bass. Nothing wrong with it at all. Depending on where you catch them, and and how many, what kind of populations you have in the lake. One of the things, got a lot of bass fishing lakes that we have really, really good healthy populations. It doesn't hurt to keep a few of them. But I'm obviously a big proponent and big believer of catch and release. But yeah, we eat the bass fried. Kind of like any other Southern boy. We got some fried potatoes and onions, and some macaroni and cheese, and some big
fried crappie fillets or catfish fillets, and the poor boy's cocktail sauce. That'd be ketchup and tartar sauce mixed together.
What about the baked beans?
That'll work too. That'll make you slap your mama away from the table.
Exactly. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jimmy. I'm gonna put together a little article about our interview and post it on our website. And I'd love to catch up with you down the road and continue talking to you. You're a great resource, and for someone like myself, I'm 25 years old, and I have a passion for fishing, and I really look up to you and Bill Dance and Roland Martin for what you guys have done to fishing. So I really appreciate it taking the time to talk to me.
Well, we appreciate that. Just give me a call anytime. Roland's gonna fly up here Saturday night and hang out with me for a couple, 2 or 3 days. Then we've got to work next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for 3M Corporation up here. But Roland's gonna come hang out a couple of days, Sunday and Monday, with me, and I'll see if he can visit with you also, maybe.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much, Jimmy.
All right, buddy. Up to you. You have a great day.
All right. Good luck fishing up there.
Appreciate that. Bye-bye.
All right.